So the topic for today is divide by 100. Yesterday we did dividing by 10, but today it is divide by 100. Let's have a look at our first tasks. Right. So this should be fairly familiar. Everybody should know this. 100 equals how many ones? Exactly. Yeah, 100 equals 100 ones. So we can just write that in. Now, this is a little bit different. It says here 100 tens. How many zeros does a 10 have? 1. Okay, and then we just do this. And what do we have? 1,000. So I have to write 1,000 here. Okay. Right. 1 pound equals how many pennies? Let's see who remembers. How many pennies are in 1 pound? Yes, Eamon. 100. Good. Well remembered. And then we have 10 pounds. Yeah, so now we have 10 pounds. Is how many 1 penny? So if 1 pound is 100, how many pennies? Good, 1,000. Because we have a 0 here. Yeah, and we have 100 pennies here for 1 pound. Now the 10 pounds has another 0 on it, so we need to put that extra 0 here to make 1,000. Okay, number 3, 1/10 of 800. Who knows what we divide 800 by? Eamon. Correct. Whenever it says 1/10 like this, you just divide by the bottom number. So if it said 1/2 or 1/2, you'd have to divide it by 2. Yeah? Okay. Let's move on now. So now we've done 1/10 of 800. Now it says 1/100th of 800. What do we have to divide 800 by? Yes, Eamon. Yeah. It's 100. Good. Okay. So here we have our 10 squares. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 hundreds in there. How much is that? Good. Now we have 3 hundreds, which of course makes 300, right? And they're asking us to divide 300 by 100. So that would give us 3. Of course, because like before, when we were dividing by 10, you can simply cancel out the zeros. There's 2 zeros here, so you can cancel 2 zeros here to give us 3. Okay, 300 equals 3 groups of 100. Yeah, again, there's 3 groups of 100 here. Okay. Now this time it's the same thing, but 700. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what would 700 divided by 100? 7, yeah? Okay, 700 divided by 100 would equal 7. I don't need to write it in because it's going to appear when I click. Okay, 700 equals 7 groups of 100. Now we're on to 1,000. Okay, so that means the whole rectangle is full. There's 10 of these green counters or coins. 10, good. Okay, because we have, as stated before, we have 10 groups of 100. Counters 10, there we go. Now it looks like, how much is this altogether? There's 2 rectangles. 2,000, good. Oh, now how much is it? 3,000, good. 3,000. So now we have to do 3,000 divided by 100, so 30, good, yeah? Now, there's 2 ways of doing it. Firstly, for 3,000, there's 30 groups of 100. If you count all these, you'll get to 30, okay? The other way to look at it is you're dividing by 100. Well, 100 has 2 zeros here, so you can only cancel 2 zeros there, yeah? You can't do any more. It would have to be 1,000 if you were to cancel this one. Okay, and that will give you your answer, 30. Okay, let's have a look here. So this is a bit different. 2,100 divided by 100. Okay, as I said before, 2 zeros on this side, so take away the 2 zeros on that side, and you have 21. Okay, well, here they're going to do it in groups now. So this is 1,000, these blue cubes, we said that before. This is another 1,000, this is 100, and they want to know how many hundreds, so 2,100 equals 2,000s plus 100, okay. Let's see. Oh, right, they're making the blue cube now by putting these green ones together. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we've made our blue cube, even though it's green. It's the same amount as the blue cube, 1,000. 1,000 equals 10 hundreds. Okay, 2,000s equals 20 hundreds. And so there are 21 hundreds altogether. 2,100 equals 21 groups of 100. Eva has 300 1p coins. How many £1 coins is this equal to? So she has 300 pennies. How many pennies are in £1? How many pennies are there in £1? 100. Good. So that makes 100p. But Eva has 300p. So how many pounds is 300p? 300p is £1? No. Yeah, because 100p is £1, okay? Essentially, you're doing 300 divided by 100, okay, which equals 3 to get the answer. This is £1, the 100p. Okay, 300p here, that's what we said before. 100p is £1. This is what the £1 coin looks like. It's got gold on the outside, it's got all these sides, I think it's got 10 sides, and it's got silver in the middle. Not real gold and silver, but it looks like it. Okay, another 100p, £1, and another one, which gives us £3. 300 divided by 100 equals 3. Okay, so we're back to this. Now, if you remember yesterday, we were dividing by 10, so that meant we went down just 1. Now we're dividing by 100, so that means we have to go down 2 steps. So let's see. Oh, right, they're doing multiplying. Okay, so this is multiplying by 100. If you multiply the 1s by 100, you get 100. If you multiply the 10s by 100, you get 1,000s. Okay, now hopefully, now we're going the other way. This is the division. So thousands divided by 100 equals 10s. 1/100th the size. Hundreds divided by 100 gives you ones. 1/100th the size. To find 1/100th, we divide by 100. Okay, this is going up. It's going down when we divide. Right, so our first task. 4,100. So, where do I write the numbers to begin with? I've got 4,100. Where do I write them? Where do I put the 4? Amen. Yeah, so I put the 4 here. And where do I put the 1? Where do I put this 1? Here. Okay, now it shows me clearly with this arrow I have to go down 2 steps. So I have to go here. I have to put my 4 here. And for the hundreds, I have to put it here if I'm dividing by 100. And then we'll see it move across. Like that. Okay? To give us 41. 3,200 is the answer. Now, it's a multiplication question. That means we have to go backwards. We have to do the opposite. So we have to start with 3,200 and divide it by 100. Okay, see, we're doing the opposite now to get this answer. Right? So I've got the 3,200. You could say 3,200, but it's easier to say 3,200. Where do I put the 3? So here. And where do I put the 2? Here. So that's where we've got our 3 and 2. And we're dividing by 100. So where do I need to move the 3? Good. And where do I need to move the 2? Now I'll just cross this off so nobody reads the number off as 3,232. What number am I left with? 32. Yeah? And again, you could just cross off the zeros to get your answer. It's 2 zeros, so you need to cross 2 zeros there. Let's see. Oh, it's going a bit messy now. Yeah, 3,200 divided by 100. There's the 3 counters and 2 counters, and they simply move across like that to give us 32. 32 is 1/100th the size of 3,200. Okay. If we do it the opposite way, yeah, so imagine we're doing this one, 32 times 100, then it has to move up 2 spaces. So we do this Yeah, and then we can check that the answer is correct. And yes, it does make 3,200. There are 400 pins altogether in here. The pins are packed in jars of 100. Okay, there's a big 100, so you know. How many jars are there? Oh, right. Okay, so there's 100 pins in each jar. How many of these jars would you need to make 400? 4, yeah? Basically, it's good. It's basically 400 divided by 100 to get our answer, which you said is 4. 700 divided by 100. Don't shout out the answer. 7. Okay, we've done this and this. B, 800 divided by 100. And again, there's 2 zeros, so we did that. C, 200 divided by 100. 2. Now, maybe these ones are a bit trickier. We'll see. 7,000, sorry, divided by 100. 70, correct, because these 2 zeros. 8,000 divided by 100. What are we left with? Good, yes, 80. Because we only have 2 zeros, like that. Now this one's it's just swapped around, so just read it as 2,000 divided by 100. 20, good. Because again, we've got the 2 zeros whenever we're dividing by 100. We need to just get rid of those 2 zeros. Okay. Next part. Right. Teddy makes 2,300 using base 10. So in other words, he's using groups of 10. Complete the sentences. 2,300 equals 2,000. How many and how many hundreds? That has to go here. 2,300, isn't it? 1,000 equals how many hundreds? 10. Good. 2,000 or 2,000s equals how many hundreds? 20. Now, obviously, when it's hundreds, that means it has 2 zeros. So in other words, 300, 1,000. Okay, so 2,000. Teddy has how many hundreds altogether? So as I've shown here, what you need to do is 2,300 divided by 100 when it says how many hundreds altogether. Yeah, so what's 2,300 divided by 100? 23, yeah? So this is just a written question of this one. Okay? Because this is the number Teddy has, 2,300. And if you count the hundreds, well, there's 3 hundreds here. And then we know there's 10 here and 10 here, which makes 23. Yeah, I'll just write that in. There's 10 hundreds there, 10 here, and here there's 3. Okay, next one. Make 3,700 using base 10. Complete sentences. Okay, so 3,700 equals 3,000s. How many hundreds? How many hundreds? If we see here's hundreds, we've done the thousands. 7. 3,000s equals how many hundreds? Remember, 100, 30, yes. Okay, that gives us our 3,000, doesn't it? There are how many hundreds altogether? Basically, we have to do 3,700 divided by 100. What does that give us? Good. Yep. And the quick way is, of course, doing it like that. Yeah. Okay. On to the next question. 100 1p coins is equal to £1. Yeah, you know that. Dexter has 700 1p coins. So it's 700p in other words. How many pound coins is this equal to? 7. Good. 7. 7 pounds, because in each pound coin, there's 100 pence. Aisha has 7,000. Ugh. 7,000p, that's a lot of coins. How many one points, how many £1 coins is this equal to? 70. Yeah, that's right. Okay. But again, you're dividing by 100 really. So 700 divided by 100 equals 7. 7,000 divided by 100 equals 70. C. Jack has 1,701p coins. Okay. It looked a bit funny because there's a gap here. Oh, no, maybe it means he has 171p coins. I think they mean he has 170p, like that. Yeah, I misread it as 1,701. 170p, okay. This is the same as £17. Is that correct? Is this the same as £17? Right, so first of all, let's look at how many pennies £17 is. So we know there's 100 pennies in £1. In other words, £17 must be times 100, right, to get the pennies. This will give us how many pennies £17 is. What does that give us? 17 times 100. Good. That will give us 1,700 p. Is that the same as this one? So Jack is not correct. And then when it says, how do you know? You could write this equation in. You could say £17 is 1,700 p. Yeah? So for how do you know, you can just write this in, really. That will explain it. Okay. Complete the number sentences. So 40 divided by 10 is what? This should be easy now because we've done divide. Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you. 400 divided by 10? 40, yeah, because if you remember, there's only 1 0, so we can only take 1 0 that side. 400 divided by 100? 4, good. 4,000 divided by 100? 40. 80 divided by 10? 8. 800 divided by 10? 80. 800 divided by 100? 8. It's just 8, yeah? Because you've got 2 zeros here, so you need to take 2 there. Okay. 8,000 divided by 100? 80. Yeah. It says, what pattern can you see? I suppose you could say when the numbers this side both have 0, there's no 0 here. Maybe that's a pattern. Yeah. So there are different patterns. You can just describe what you see. Yeah. Let's have a look at number 7. Okay, so there's not much time. 100 times what equals 1,200? Now this means we need to go backwards. 1,200 divided by 100 gives us what? 12, yeah? Because we have to do that. That would give us 12. B, 6,200 divided by 100 equals 62. 100 times what gives us this one? 5,200. Exactly. Because again, we have to do this. That's a dot, by the way, yeah? Which gives us 52. D. Okay, again, we need to work backwards. So we have 35, and instead of divide times 100. Yes, 3,500. 3,500 divided by 100. What is 35 hundredths? How would you say that? You wouldn't say 35 hundredths. How could you say that normally? Good. Yeah, and hundreds, you always have 2 zeros. Divided by 100 gives us what? 35. Okay, 96 equals how many hundreds divided by 100? Okay, so yeah, basically you need to do 96 times 100 because we're going backwards. What would that give us? Yeah. And because we have the hundreds written here, we just write 96. Okay, because that gives us our hundreds. Use the digit cards to fill in the gaps. You may use each digit card only once. So here, you need to choose which number would fit best here and here. Right, so this is, maybe it's a little bit tricky, but the clue is here you have 3. So this is 30. Let's just say it's 30. We don't know what this number is, so we'll just leave it as 0. This is 30. So what's 30 times 100? 3,000, right? So 3,000 goes here. I rub this out. Okay. Now here we have a 4. So what would 400 divided by 100 be? What's 400 divided by 100? 4. Okay. So that's how we work this one out.